What's going on, everybody? John Eric Pauli here with My MMA News, and today's guest has a huge fight coming up here at UFC 285, joined today by the number 10 ranked middleweight contender in the world, Dricus Du Plessis, who will be fighting Derek Brunson, headlining the preliminary card. Exciting matchup, can't wait for it. Dricus, thanks for doing this, man. Really appreciate the time, and it's nice to see you again, man.
Oh well, man. Thank you for having me. It's great to be on.
So let's start here for all the fans out there. I have to ask this question. This is something that I don't think a lot of fans really realize for somebody like yourself. For you to fight in Vegas, it's a lot. The travel to get from South Africa to the United States, not an easy process, long hours. Just how the flight go, and how are you feeling now that you're in Vegas and kind of getting settled in here?
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty long flight. That's why we always come in quite early. Try to get it between 2 weeks and 10 days, 1 day for every time zone, because we're 10 time zones different from Vegas, so it's 10 hours different from South Africa and Vegas. So it's a long flight. It's 14 hours to New York. From New York, another 5 to 6 hour flight. But everything went well. We've done this a couple of times before. We've prepped. We know exactly what to do. Like I said, we train at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the mornings for the past 2 weeks to make sure the bodies are acclimatized to peak at the right time that we would in Vegas. Basically, my night and day back home for the last week has been completely switched around to get used to the climate and the time zone in Vegas.
Now, does it affect like the weight cut, or obviously I'm assuming it affects the training to a degree because 14 hours on a plane, that's obviously somewhere there's a time slot. I'm sure that you would be in the gym training there. So I guess how big of an effect does it have in that regard?
Well, the big advantage we have is we fly at nighttime. So my flight was 10 p.m. and I arrived here the next day at 2 p.m. So flying, we're 10 hours ahead in South Africa. So I'm flying back in time. So basically, I'm not missing a day because we're 10 hours behind, in Vegas. So I, I trained the Wednesday before flying out. We did our session, arrived here on Thursday afternoon, and just went to the gym and did our session. So no training was skipped. No. Like I said, it's just proper planning prevents poor performance.
All right, so now before we get into the fight specifics now on this fight with Brunson, I do actually want to go back now to your last fight, the win over Darren Till. That was a massive win for you in your career, against a big name opponent, helped you move up in the ranks and everything. Just what was that moment like for you in your career to have that big experience like that and to get that win and really get a name for yourself? Now that was kind of the big opponent that you need to beat there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm a massive fan of Darren Till. Uh, he's a guy that I've always looked up to, leading up to my UFC career. He's a guy that's been at the top of the sport. He's had the highest highs, the lowest lows. He's a man with crazy experience and with the ability to beat anybody on the night. I honestly believe that I got the one of the best Darren Tills that we've seen today. He was in shape. He didn't gas out. It wasn't the Darren Till we saw against Derek Brunson. It was the Darren Till that we saw against Robert Whittaker, put who dropped Robert Whittaker in that first round. The guy who stayed in that fight for 5 rounds, who stuffed takedowns. But I'm not Robert Whittaker. You're not stuffing my takedowns. I'm a lot bigger. I'm a lot stronger. And now it felt so amazing to be standing in that cage and 4 fights into my UFC career, fighting a guy like Darren Till, who's one of the biggest names in the sport. Yes, he hasn't been in shape as of late, but look at the guys he's fought. He's fought the best of the best. He's in that fight. I closed the book on the whole Calvin Gastelum fight that didn't happen because Darren Till beat Gastelum. I beat Darren Till. That answers that question for me because I'm not fighting backward. I'm fighting forward. And it was a massive honor for me to be able to go out there and prove what I've been saying. That listen, I belong here with the top dogs. I belong with the top of the division. He's number 10, and I took that spot. And right now I'm on my way to the top five, and I will be the top five, and I will be the champion.
Yeah, and I said chance to crack the top five here coming up at UFC 285. One more thing though with that Till fight before we get into this big matchup coming up here. So much was made, I felt like, and it could have been a over exaggeration on media ends or on fans ends. but they kind of felt like you were almost breathing heavy in the fight, and it was a dogfight. You guys were really going at it there. Was there anything up with the gas tank in that fight, or was that just the way how you tend to breathe in the fight with your mouth open that way?
Yeah, yeah, mouth open. Like, look at all my fights. Look, my nose is completely screwed up. I'll get a chance to fix it someday. So I do breathe through my nose, but absolutely that second round. I said it after the fight. Something went wrong. My legs went a little bit numb. Uh, I didn't feel that gas. That's how I breathe, but my legs felt numb in that fight. I felt stuck. I felt like I couldn't move. But it took about 2 3 minutes, and I was back in control. I mean, if you look at that first round, in a matter of 2 minutes, I landed 60 unanswered shots. Yes, of course I'm tired, and if you look at all my fights, I do get tired. But have you seen my opponents? Have you seen how tired they get? We went to a third round where I won the fight by a Darren Till who couldn't keep up. That's what I do. I go out there and I put up a pace that's unmatchable. It's unmatchable. Yes, in that second round, I wasn't in trouble. These shots didn't hurt me. I just felt I couldn't move, and I said, okay, let's see what happens. I need to cover my legs. I didn't know what was up, and about 3 minutes into the second round, I was back on top of the situation, and third round came out, felt great, and I did what I had to get the win. And yeah, I wouldn't say it was the gas tank at all. I think it might have been the fact that all of a sudden this fight just went from in the first 10 seconds to 200-mile-an-hour fight, just punches for 2 minutes straight, just punching, 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 and that's something that it's hard to prepare for. You don't know what to expect when you fight. You don't know if there's going to be one of those fights, a slow starter, and here we go from 0 to 100 in 10 seconds. So yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with my gas tank. If there was anything wrong with my gas tank, I wouldn't have recovered and come to get that victory in the third round.
I got you, and everything that you said there makes sense. And it's funny. I know Chael Sonnen. I'm a big fan of him and his analyst work, and he always says the hardest workout: punch as fast and as hard as you can for 2 minutes straight without stopping. If you ever try to do it, it's very hard just to get through that. So I could relate to exactly what you were talking about there. The fight went, 0 to 100 so fast there. Let's now,
Absolutely.
though, get into this fight here. When this interview comes out, it's legitimate fight week. Fight's just a couple days away. At the time of recording this, 7 days away from fight night. So your camp is pretty much, you could say, is wrapped up. You're just kind of putting those final touches as fight week or as fight night kind of comes about now. How was your training camp back in South Africa?
I had an amazing camp. Having back-to-back camps can be problematic if you have some injuries. So I mean, they let me know about this fight. They offered us the fight 10 days after the Till fight. So I basically had 2 weeks off for Christmas and spending time on the holidays after the fight with family, and immediately back to training in the new year. I had 2 weeks off and I just started grinding 100%. And the big advantage you have with back-to-back camps like this is you just build off the previous camp. My fitness base was already there, my strength base, and the skill we developed for that Till fight that didn't go away. So completely different fighting, Derek Brunson, but me physically and as an athlete, athletically, physically, fitness, all that, it's just building upon two back-to-back camps. I had no major injuries from the Till fight, didn't take big shots, wasn't cut. So there was nothing keeping me back from taking this fight on like so short after the Till fight. So I really feel incredibly great. Right now, it's just maintenance, making the weight. It's all the hard training is done. We did everything we possibly could in this camp to prepare for this fight, and I'm feeling absolutely amazing.
All right, let's talk now about your opponent now, and Derek Brunson, longtime veteran of the sport. It's probably easier to name people who he hasn't fought at this point. He's literally fought, it seems like, just about everybody in this middleweight division. I'm sure you've been following his career for quite some time. Just your thoughts on him as an opponent, what he's going to bring to the table, and how you kind of see things playing out here.
Yeah, I think Derek Brunson is an incredible athlete. I think he's been around the block. He's fought who's fought the best of the division. He's beaten some of the best guys. He knows how to win fights. He's a competitor. He's been a lifelong competitor. He knows how to compete. He's not going to come in there and be. He's not going to be surprised by anything I do. But that's going to be his demise as well. He's not going to be surprised up until it's too late. And I think he's going to come out there with a thinking. He's going to look at the Edmund Sebastian fight. If you take that fight, derailing hype trains. He's going to generalize myself. He's coming up, being a lot of hype around me, and he's going to derail this hype train. I'll have a big message. That's not going to happen. I'm not a hype train. I'm not somebody that suddenly got on the scene and became a big name. I've fought internationally. I've fought some of the best guys in the world. I have 21 professional fights. This is nothing new to me. I'm not a new kid, a youngster who's coming up here just with some hype and got lucky here and there. No. I worked to be here. I'm ready for this. So he's going to come out there and maybe think that he's going to shock me with his strength, shock me with his wrestling. I've seen it all. I'm ready for anything that he throws. I can wrestle. I showed against Till. Till stuffed 3 of his takedowns out of 7, landed 4 out of 7. I landed 6 out of 6. You're not stopping my takedowns if I try to take you down. It's different. Everybody can wrestle now. He has a very old school way of wrestling, trying to get that takedown, hold you down. People get up these days. Once you get the guy down, what are you going to do about it? That's what we saw with the Cannonier fight. In his last fight, he got the takedown, yeah, sure. But what did he do with it? Cannonier got back to his feet, and then he used so much energy to get that takedown, and then he's exposed because he gets a takedown and he doesn't do anything with it. So sure, if he takes me down, if he gets his takedown, and that's a big gift, what's going to happen from there? So I think he's going to come out hard. I think he's going to come out swinging like the Derek Brunson we've all learned to know. But at the end of the day, Derek Brunson is considering retirement, and I'm only there to help him.
So obviously you are extremely confident going into this one, and you've been confident your whole career. We've been doing these interviews for a little while now, and it's funny. I remember when I first talked to you, you were unranked, and you said, I'm going to get in that top 15, 10, 5, all the way to the top. You even mentioned that earlier in the interview too, but this is the next step in your career. The win here gets you into the top 5. I wanted to ask you about that too. Obviously you get the win here. Were you going to put you right in the mix of things then? Obviously I would imagine you're going to be up to number 5 if you get the win here. Does that kind of put you in that maybe one fight away from a title fight? I mean, it kind of puts you right in that position you want to be.
Yeah, absolutely. After this fight, I'll be tied with I'll be tied for the most consecutive wins of the active middleweight fighters, 100%. And I want to get that shot. I want to get that shot. So you have Andre Muniz. He has 5 wins. He's the only guy ahead of me. And Andre Muniz is fighting. He's fighting backwards. He's not performing the way they want him to perform. He's not the guy they want to. They don't want to. He's fighting Brendan Allen. He's a great fighter, absolutely, but he's not ranked. He's not even ranked. So he's not going to the title. And I want that pressure. I want that. The UFC are giving me the guys. They were letting me fighting up 5 places, 10 places, because they know I'm ready for that. And I believe I'm ready, and I know I'm ready for that. So after this fight, I would love the winner of, the middleweight division just completely opened up right now, especially at the top 5. So you have Whittaker and Chimaev. Is that fight happening? I don't know. I would love to fight the winner of Chimaev and Whittaker. That fight, whoever wins that fight, I'll fight whoever wins that fight for a title eliminator. And after that, fight for that belt.
Yeah, a lot of big things on the horizon here for you, man. Last thing now before we head out, I just want to go over a few future matchups, get your opinions on. We'll start actually since you brought up the whole middleweight division and the picture going on here of what you want next. Well, the one thing that we know for sure is that Alex Pereira, Israel Adesanya, they're going to run things back in April. I guess 2-part question. First, just your thoughts on that first matchup, the way that Alex was able to go out in the 5th round and get the knockout, and how you kind of see things playing out in their rematch.
Yeah, I think Alex Pereira just showed what an incredible fighter he is. He's a warrior. His mental strength is insane. He was down and out in that fight. He was almost knocked out in the 1st. He was so tired in that 4th round, and I think that was the demise of Israel Adesanya. He should have finished that fight in the 4th round, but we've seen Izzy in the past few fights over the past few years, just almost playing it too safe. He's playing it safe, keeping his winning fight. I guess you can go about it that way. He's doing what he has to win that fight, but that was what cost him that win against Ferreira. If he went for the finish in that 4th round, he could have won that fight. He could have finished it in that 4th. Didn't go for it, and once you fight a guy like Pereira with that one-punch knockout power, with that, if he catches you, it's over. When you get the chance, when you have him hurt, you go for that finish. You do not wait. You do not give him another opportunity to recover. You take that finish. Well, that's my opinion, and that was what cost Izzy that fight. So, I mean, Alex just showed what a warrior he is. And yeah, for them fighting again, it's going to be very interesting to see because the ball's in the court of Israel Adesanya right now. He's going to need to make the changes. He's going to be the one that's going to come out and he has to win that belt. Right now, he's not defending. He has to win that belt. So he's going to go and take it from the champion. So it's going to be very interesting to see if does he have that hunger? And then, of course, looking at Alex Ferreira. Yeah, he came in, he beat Izzy at his sport, also beating him twice in kickboxing. Does he still have the hunger? Does he still have the purpose of beating him again? Does he still have the purpose to go to the gym and be an absolute savage, or did he accomplish what he needed to accomplish?
Yeah, it should be interesting to see how things play out in that rematch there. The other one I wanted to ask you about is a future matchup, actually very near future matchup because it's the main event on your fight night there coming up here at UFC 285. Jon Jones returning at heavyweight against Ciryl Gane, vacant heavyweight title on the line. Just your thoughts on that matchup.
Oh man, I think it's a great matchup. Ciryl Gane almost, if you will, this style. He's been the Jon Jones of the heavyweight division. The way he's light on his feet, he moves like middleweight. He's light on his feet. He uses kicks here. He uses funny strikes, up elbows, spinning stuff. He's like I said, his style is very similar to Jon Jones. So he's basically the Jon Jones of the heavyweight division. But now we have Jon Jones after. You can't. I can't go and say no. Ciryl Gane's going to win that fight. I'll never bet against Jon Jones. And he's, in my opinion, the greatest MMA fighter for now. And I think Jon Jones is going to come out. We've seen him before. He doesn't have ring rust. He doesn't have that the big lights that bother him. He has the BMT of like anybody else. He's the greatest for a very big reason. So I think this fight is his to lose, and I think Ciryl Gane has a very, very big fight up ahead. And he's gonna need something special to beat a guy like Jon Jones, because Jon Jones is something special.
All right, man, and just one other one for you. Valentina Shevchenko, Alexa Grasso, co-main event at UFC 285, another big title fight there. Just your thoughts on that matchup.
Well, I mean, both. I'm a big fan of both ladies. I think she's like that silent. She's all in the background, looking so chill. When she fights, and she comes with that spirit, that she just comes with that, that Mexican vibe, that she comes out and like she looks like she wants to take your head off, and she looks calm at the same time. But just the way she fights, it's absolutely insane. But Valentina Shevchenko is, in my opinion, the greatest female fighter. I think I would love to see a rematch between her and Nunes, since she took the last fight on short notice. I think she is the greatest female fighter, just all around. The way she's a lot smaller, but her striking is next level. Her wrestling, her grappling, everything is just perfect. When she fights, it's almost like you look at her and she doesn't do anything wrong. So it's going to be an insane fight, but I have to go with the champ on this one.
All right, Dricus, appreciate all the time, man. We have your teammate Cameron waiting on deck after we finish this one up here, so the viewers are able to see that interview as well coming up here at MyMMANews. Just last thing before you head out, social media, so people know where to follow you at. You have any management sponsorships? I know you're wearing the management hoodie there for the shout-outs, so whoever you got to give shout-outs to, floor is yours, take it away.
And thank you so much, all the people back home in South Africa. Thank you so much for the amazing support. All the people over here in the States, the support has been amazing. I felt so welcome to fight in front of all these people. USN brand, USN Nutrition, just helping out the whole team. They're actually a South African brand, sold in South Africa, one of the best sellers in America. It's so great to be partnering with these brands. And I mean, right now, social media, give us a follow. Give us a follow on social media, just Dricus Du Plessis, Instagram, Twitter. And the best thing, this is Fight Week. That's what it's all about. This is not about sponsors right now. This is about fighting. This is about athletes. It's about fans, and this is about keeping everybody happy. So, tune in for the fight. It's going to be amazing. And thank you for the support. And I promise I'll put up another performance of the night and bring that show to you.